On school boards to co-funding Moms for Liberty, Tiffany Justice has been a dedicated advocate for parental rights. Now she's stepping into a new major role as Executive Vice President of Heritage Action, leading a network of 2.5 million activists nationwide. So Tiffany, first off, I think congratulations are in order. I mean, it's a big moment, it's a big role for you, for Heritage Action, for the broader conservative grassroots movement. So yeah, thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me. I think it is a great moment for Americans in general because, I was a mom who got involved in politics in 2016. I ran for school board because I saw that there were people that were making bad decisions. And I thought, well, I could get involved, right? I can make a difference. And so now to be leading Heritage Action, as you said, 2.5 million activists across the country, we're going to continue to grow that. I think it's just a message to the American people that now is the time to step up and get involved.
Yeah, we'll get into all that, but first, you have to tell us, how do you feel? Are you excited? What was going through your mind when you first got the offer to take on this new role?
Yeah, I was really honored. Honestly, Kevin Roberts is a wonderful leader. He's the president of the Heritage Foundation, and I've been at the Heritage Foundation for the past 6 months leading a parental rights initiative. Parents are about 25% of voters across America, and we know that education is a major issue for Americans. We have so many children that are not learning to read in our public schools, and school choice is a really big motivating issue for voters. And so I've really been working to empower parents to get involved, and now to be able to lead Heritage Action and to help those activists to find other ways to be involved is going to be fantastic.
Yeah, you've worn many hats over the years, as you said now, and as I mentioned earlier. I'm curious, what motivates you, to do all these things over such a long period of time?
The most important hat I wear is as a mom. I have 4 kids, and everything that I do getting involved in politics is to make sure that they lead happy, productive lives in a free society. I think that's what every American wants. The issues that we're struggling with in America are so much bigger than Republican or Democrat. These are human issues. The idea that boys can't become girls, girls can't become boys, right? The fact that we want our kids to thrive in schools, that we want our kids to be able to graduate from high school and college and be able to have jobs, to be able to own a house. These are things that all Americans share, these wants for their family. And so that's what drives me, being a mom, being a parent, and really loving our country.
And you touched on this point earlier about grassroots in moving politics in America. Would you like to elaborate on that? How important is the grassroots movement?
The grassroots movement won President Trump the election. There is no doubt about it. So many people had to rethink the way that they've been voting in the past, in this past election cycle. The Democrats keep going further and further to the left. They're leaving behind lots of voters. As I said before, people don't want boys playing in girls' sports. People, again, want to be able to buy a house. They want to live in a free America. They don't want to have their First Amendment rights censored and taken away. And so as the left continues to go down this horrible path that they are on, we're going to continue to scoop up new voters, whether it's making America healthy again, creating more economic opportunity, or more educational freedom. I have no doubt that we're going to continue to grow the conservative movement.
Okay, you mentioned a couple of points. For example, keeping men out of women and girls' sports. In your opinion, what do you think is the most pressing matter or goal for this movement over the next few months and years?
To make sure that communists like Mamdani don't win elections, to make sure that conservatives and Republicans gain power. This is all about gaining and acquiring power. It's what the left does so beautifully, and they have a very sophisticated grassroots network that they've grown over the past 20 years. And so it's time for us to get involved, to step up. I think more Americans than ever realized during COVID that we hadn't been as involved in the political process as we need to be. So now is the time to take action. And what Democrats need to know is that we're not going to lose the elections in 26. We're not going to lose the presidency in 28. We're going to ensure that President Trump can continue to get the amazing work done that he started in the White House, and we're going to ensure that our kids have a bright future in a free country.
And I think that's a very important point. You mentioned in that response and earlier as well, where you're saying the grassroots movement sort of really won the election for President Trump, right?
Yep.
So, I haven't really seen that in my time here in the news. So talk to us about what makes today's conservative grassroots movement unique?
The fact that I think we woke up to the fact that we were losing our country during COVID. Americans were shocked to see the overreach of the government. They were shocked to see the bureaucracy. They were shocked to see decisions being made that put our kids on the back burner. Again, this mayoral race in New York, shocked to see someone who openly says that he's a socialist, that we know is a communist, maybe coming into power. And so these types of things are really waking Americans up to the fact that there is a very dark movement by the Democrats to take control, capture institutions, whether it's the judiciary or our education system, and now is the time to rise up and take our power back. Heritage Action does amazing work in states. There are sentinels, and if anyone's listening, they should go to Heritage Action website. They should sign up to be a sentinel, because what we're going to do is give them the best resources, tools, and information so they can create awareness in their communities and they can make change happen at the ballot box.
And you mentioned education.
Yeah.
What would you like there to be changed?
I would like for kids to learn to read. If a child doesn't read by the time they're in 3rd grade, then they can't read to learn. And the fact that we are not teaching American kids how to read, considering how much money we spend on education, is absolutely abysmal. We are relegating these kids to a life of struggle and crime. 75% of the kids who are in the juvenile justice system are functionally illiterate. So we know if kids can't read, they can't be successful in life. You tell me what American parent doesn't want their child to learn to read. And so we need to start expecting more out of these systems. The parents are demanding choice and opportunity. The most important thing that we can do in education is put parents into the driver's seat. And Secretary McMahon, I'm so excited for the work that she's been doing, and I know that she's committed, as President Trump is, to making sure that parents have the choice as to where to send their kids to school.
I mean, it's a difficult task. We've tried for many years, and what do you think will make it different this time with President Trump in office?
Because he's not messing around. And he's brought real operators in, like Linda McMahon, Secretary McMahon, who are going to do what it is the American people want. President Trump received a mandate from the American people. We want change. We want taxpayer funding for philanthropy to stop. We want our First Amendment rights, our civil rights, to stop being violated. We want to have freedom to live as we know we need to raise our children as we see fit. And President Trump made a commitment to me when I interviewed him while he was on the campaign trail. Everything that he's done since he's taken office has shown that he means business. And parents are ready to take back our country and to make sure that our kids grow up in a free and thriving America.
So I can tell you've interacted, you've worked with many families, everyday Americans. What's the most rewarding thing about that for you?
Yeah, it's been amazing to see grassroots activists getting involved and making a difference. Again, I think a lot of people thought being a politician was something someone else did. Like, you go and live your life, you have a business, you raise a family, and somebody else runs for office. The most amazing thing that I've really seen is Americans taking the bull by the horns, getting involved, running for office, being a part of campaigns, seeing their friends win and gain elected power, and then turning communities around. Honestly, as someone running for school board, you get on that school board, you start reallocating funds, get back to the basics, you change kids' lives.
And I think that's a really common thing where people think perhaps politics is somebody else's business. Yeah. So what do you say to those people who think perhaps politics is too big for them to make a difference?
Go to Heritage Action's website, sign up to be a member, sign up to be a sentinel, and I promise we're going to put the resources, tools, and information in your hands that you need in order to make a difference in your own community and state.
Okay, just one final question.
Sure.
What gives you hope for America's direction?
My kids. Seeing the kids at the Heritage Foundation who come in as interns, the hope that they have, the love for our country, seeing leaders like President Trump and J.D. Vance who are willing to step up and serve and to brave the storm in order to make big change happen. That gives me hope right now.
Well, Tiffany, again, thank you so much for coming on the show. And again, congratulations on the new role.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Okay, up next, China is quietly waging a war on the U.S. without firing a shot. American thought leaders host Yannick Kellick sits down with General Michael Lin to reveal the full story.